It's indeed my pleasure this morning to welcome my dear friend for many, 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 many years. I think it was many lifetimes as well, because we have been connected over the years through this church family. And speaking today on Identify Yourself, please help me welcome John Boyle.
Good morning. Good morning. Let me get settled in here. Okay. Well, I don't think I need that. There we go. Oh, wow. Every time I get up here and I look out, I just have to say, wow, this is so awesome. It's so great. I want to first thank Reverend Kathy and Reverend Michael for giving me this opportunity to speak today. I just think it's such a great honor and privilege to be able to speak and to share some of the things that I have learned. And so the other day I decided that I was going to wake up and I was going to see how long I could go with having perfect thoughts. You ever try that? So I get up and I get out of bed and I notice my leg's a little stiff, you know. Then I think to myself, oh no, I just noticed my leg is stiff. Am I reaffirming that I'm going to have more stiffness in my leg? So no, okay. Let's start over. Perfect thoughts. From this point forward, I'm just going to move forward. No big deal. So I walk into the bathroom. I look in the mirror, and I look at that mirror like I do almost every morning, and I say to myself, you are a piece of work. You're a piece of God work, right? Dr. Carolyn taught me that. And I look at myself and I say, you are all right, big guy. You are okay. Except for that voice says, you know, there's some dark circles under those eyes. Then I think to myself, I shouldn't be worried about my dark circles under my eyes. Am I concerned about what other people think? Oh, no, that's not good either. Shame on you. I just shamed myself. That's not good either. I think I need to start over. I'm going to go meditate. So I sit in my chair, and I breathe. Oh, this is pretty good. This is good. My cell phone's ringing. I bet it's the contractor wants to know where that carpet is. It's okay, I'll deal with it later. Just let it go, let it go. Breathe. Yeah. John, have you seen what your daughter's wearing? No? Oh my gosh, no. You don't understand. Everybody's wearing this. You don't love me anymore. With best intentions, we practicing this teaching, it can be kind of hard, can be kind of tough, especially if we're looking at every single little piece that we have to deal with in life. Life coming at us in so many different directions. But you know, even though the world can be a little bit crazy, I do know that this teaching has answers for me. But sometimes I feel the world is a little bit crazy, and it reminds me of golf. Anybody here golf? Oh, we got a few people. I don't golf. But But I have golfed a few times, okay? And what happens when I golf is inevitably I'm in a group where somebody in that group wants to teach me how to golf, okay? And so they give me so many different directions, okay? So, okay, bend your knees. Okay, spread your legs. Okay, that's too far. Right there. Okay, that's good. Make sure you hold the club. Oh, you're holding it too hard. You got to loosen your grip. Okay, loosen the grip. Club goes off. A little tighter on the grip. Keep your eye on the ball. Watch the tee. Before too long, you have so many different things that you're focusing in on that you can't even hit the ball. And I think that life's like that sometimes. I mean, we live in a world where there's so much information coming at us. If we so choose, we have this little cell phone that just bombards us with all kinds of things, from Facebooks, from text, from email, you name it. All this information coming in, all these different things hitting us at one time. And sometimes it can get tough. It can get tough. You can't even hit the ball. Sometimes my spiritual life feels that way too, because there are so many different ways that we can look at our spiritual life. There's so many ways that we can look at, and so many different ideas and philosophies and thoughts about almost any and everything. You should do this, you should do that. Oh, don't should yourself. Louise Hay will put you into religious science jail for shoulding yourself. You have to constantly be aware. And so there are times when I just need to get a grip. Something I can hold on to. Some truth that I always know is there. And for me, that grip is about how I identify myself. Fact is, I have many identities in my life. I'm a father, I'm a son, I'm a brother, I'm a businessman. I'm not a golfer. Not much of one. I guess I am when I golf, yes. But I have a lot of things. And even within my business, I do a lot of different things. I may look at a financial spreadsheet, and at that point, I'm identifying myself in this world of numbers and accounting. And then I may also be working in the area of marketing, and I may work in many different fields. And then, of course, working as a teacher and teaching classes and being a practitioner. All these things are different identities that I have. Wayne Muller, who's the author of How Then Shall We Live, writes, talking about identities, "When I am child of an alcoholic, I feel small and afraid. When I am therapist, I feel caring, sometimes grandiose, sometimes overwhelmed. When I am father, I feel responsible and watchful. Each name, each identity brings a way of seeing and responding to the world. I walk differently with a different gait, a different balance." So it's not just about identifying yourself. It's what is it that we are identifying ourselves with. Erik Ericson, who's well known for his work in the stages of child development, he writes, "The sense of I is one of the most obvious facts of existence. Indeed, perhaps the most obvious, and it is, at the same time, one of the most elusive. What we call our self, small self, is elastic. It shifts and it moves. The who that we are depends upon the way we see. If we believe we are a thief, we will act like a criminal. If we think we are fragile and broken, we will live a fragile, broken life. If we believe we are strong and wise, we will live with enthusiasm and courage. The way we name ourselves colors the way we live." So what Wayne Muller and Erik Ericson are describing is the law of identity. How we identify ourselves is the same thing as what it is that we believe about ourselves. And we know as religious scientists that what we believe about ourselves is outpictured in our lives. We create based on our beliefs. So it's not a matter of simply identifying ourselves. It's about what it is that we are identifying ourselves with. I was identifying myself with that glass of water there. Okay, so Dr. Holmes writes, if we could forget that philosophy is profound and that religion is spiritual and life serious, all of which may be true, but if we could forget these things and approach reality as normally as we go about our daily affairs, we would be better off. Well, I relate to this passage and this quote from Dr. Holmes. I've never been particularly drawn to people that found themselves to be too profound. Nor have I been particularly drawn to people that were overly religious or that took themselves or life too seriously. For something to become normal, though, a normal part of our daily lives, what has to happen? Well, we have to bring that reality, and when he talks about the reality, let me quote that again, but if we forget these things and approach reality, and that's a capital R, that reality is the reality of who we are, the truth of who we are. As normally as we go about our daily affairs, we will be better off. So for something to be normal, it has to be every day, it has to be every minute, it has to be all the time. And so the question then becomes, what is the identity? What is my identity in all of this? If we simply bring our truth, our reality, that we all know that we have, that truth of our being, that we are that the source of life is God, and that we are a creation of the One, and that we are endowed with all of its attributes of peace and power and beauty and joy and love and life and light and wisdom and abundance and all of the rest. If we simply bring that awareness and that to our time here together, or we bring that awareness and those ideas when we get into a situation that's tough, then we aren't really applying it on a day in, and it hasn't become a way of life. What it's become is a temporary way of thinking. And so what we are called to do is to bring that awareness into all of our identities, everything that we are, and everything that we do. I have no idea where we are. Okay, here we go. Jesus said, "You are the light of the world." You are the light of the world. You are the light of the world, and 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 I am the light of the world, and the rest of you are out of luck. Just kidding. We're all the light of the world, right? That light is within us. And Connie talked about this in our contemplation about the light that we are. And guess what? That light can't go out. Jesus didn't say, you are the light of the world provided you come from a family that supports you, that loves you, and two natural parents. Jesus didn't say that you are the light of the world provided nothing has ever happened to you. You've never been violated or harmed in any way. Jesus didn't say that you are the light of the world provided you are not an alcoholic or have a problem with drugs. Jesus said that you are the light of the world, period. That's it. You are the light of the world. That light cannot be touched. It is permanent. Now we can cover it up a little bit. We cannot use it. And that was such a great illustration of what Connie said this morning about, who was the gentleman's name? Scott Wyman. He did a great demonstration where he took, a overhead projector, okay, and he showed this bright light on the wall. And then he talked about the different things in our lives, these different attachments, these different things that tend to dull that light, and began to place those things on that light. I want to read a passage from How Then Shall We Live? And in all honesty, I went and I heard Reverend Eileen Burnell speak. And it's the same passage that she read, but I just felt it was so poignant, and I'm going to repeat it. And I think it really brings home what it is I want to say here. So I'm going to give you a TW, okay? That's tissue warning. Okay. Okay, first of all, I had a very painful time because there were hardly any, I'm sorry, I should set this up. He's talking about a workshop that he's doing. And Rose, one of the students in the workshop, had a problem with the activity that they were to do. And the activity had to do with searching through various magazines and finding pictures and things that they could relate to, both for painful experiences they had and also for positive, really good memories that they had. First of all, I had a very painful time because there were hardly any pictures in all these magazines of people who weren't white, except in the National Geographic. I feel angry that I have to go through an anthropological magazine to find pictures of people that look like me. It makes me feel invisible. None of us had seen what Rose had seen. There was violence here. And in these playful, upbeat magazines, advertisements, they made certain people disappear. There was strength in Rose in her words. Her identification with her community was clear and strong. And yet, living as a member of a people who had been constantly wounded and oppressed by the dominant culture, there was also in Rose great tendencies and hurt. She knew the deep sorrow she'd shared with her family and all the families in her community. These were her people. Rose's compassion and strength had combined to make her a passionate and valuable advocate for the social change in the community. Rose went on. I remember a time when I was small. My aunts came to my house. They were excited. They told my mother they had something that would help me. They all took me to the bathroom and started rubbing my face with this chemical. It was an abrasive. It stung my face. They rubbed and rubbed. I cried. It hurt so much. After a while, they stood back and they looked at me. Their faces showed their disappointment. It didn't work, they told me, sadness in their eyes. You're still dark. With their chemicals, they had hoped to lighten my face. It was too brown. They said I would never be happy. They had tried to make me white. In their love for me, they taught me to be ashamed of who I was. I was not white. Therefore, I would never be happy. That's what happens when we identify ourselves the way society, the way other people want us to see ourselves. And it's not the truth of who we are. We must identify ourselves with the truth of our being, who we are in God, the perfect, perfect being that we are. This light, the reality is, as Dr. Holmes puts it, the truth of our being is what we are called to bring into every situation. It's what we're called to bring into this situation right here, right now. It's what we're called to do and called to be and called to express in everything that we do. If I'm looking over my financial statements, I call forth that power, that energy, that light. And I know the abundance. And I know the love, and I know the joy, and I know the peacefulness, even in a financial statement. When I served on the board, that was our premise. That's exactly how we looked at all things, as much as we possibly could to keep ourselves on track. Whether I'm given a lesson like I am right now, trust me, I did a lot of prayer today. A lot of prayer. To open myself up. To allow Spirit to speak through me. To come from the heart. Being a husband and a father. I have to tell you, though, I have to share with you that there is one area of my life that over the years has been a bit of an Achilles heel. It's kind of thrown me off track at different times. And that is, it's difficult for me when my kids are going through something tough. When they're really ill or sick. Because I sometimes get steeped in worry and fear. And what I've learned, because it's happened a few times now, what I've learned is that I need to embrace that worry and fear. I need to appreciate the worry and fear. And I'll tell you why, because that worry and that fear is letting me know there's an area that I need to work on. And so I take that worry and that fear, and I go and I see a practitioner. I visit and I see my minister. I take that worry and fear, and I may take a class. I may open myself up and start reading books, more books on things, and I work on whatever it is that comes forth. Because you see, there is something that I do know, and I was taught this very, very well, and that is that within me there is a divine wisdom. And within me, I already know the answer. I already know the answer. I was taught this as a practitioner, that when we see a client, the first thing that we know is that they already know. They already have the answer within them. It's not for me to uncover it. It's not for me to determine and to tell them what it is that they have to do. It's for me to know the truth for myself, and in knowing the truth for myself, I know it for them as well. That truth is within all of us. We simply have to tune into it. And so, in these situations, what I've learned to do is detach myself from the situation. You say, well, gosh, how do you detach yourself when it's your kids? I'm not detaching myself from the children. I'm detaching myself from the condition. And I'm building up and reaffirming and knowing the truth. Because when I am okay, I have to become okay. I have to do the work. I can't do the work for my kids. I have to do that work. But when I do that work and I'm fully orbed, guess what? That light is there. The light is available. That's the best way I can help my kids. To be that light. To be stable and to be balanced and to be there. The point that I have to meet with them at, the place that I need to meet with them at, is the place of the self, capital S, that place of truth. I'm convinced that if all of us were to take that moment and take that time and to connect and to identify ourselves with the self and meet at the self, to meet in that place of truth in all of our relations, the problems of the world would be gone. And so I know that there's a lot of craziness in this world right now. Oh man, the campaigns, the horrible terrorists, the shootings, and all of it. And I often wonder, what is it that I can do? What is it that I can do in this situation? How can I best serve? And I believe one of the best things that we can each do is to identify ourselves with our truth in all that we do and express ourselves in that way, and in every relationship, in every way. If we as individuals intend to make our lives better, it won't be because we're being profound. It won't be because we're being extra religious, or that we decided to take life a little more seriously. It'll be because we've made a personal image out of God. That is ourselves, by connecting to the truth of who it is that we are, to that light. Arm yourself with this truth. If you do, you can confront anything. Identify yourself with truth. Make it part of your daily effort. You're worth it, you know. You really are. How good do you want your life to be? Are you willing to do the work? It's really your choice. We are always at the point and power of choice. And that choice is, and that power is sacred. And it's for us to determine. And so I ask that you choose wisely. Choose that which you are led to choose. Choose that which makes you happy. Namaste.